Here's what you should have received in your enclosure kit. The mini shifts, which you've already assembled according to my previous video, potentially a USB interface, 4 long spacers, 4 short spacers, 4 hex head screws, a selection of M3 nylon spacers, a selection of M3 nuts, and you will need a hex key, a flathead screwdriver, and useful but not necessary is a 5.5mm nut driver. You'll also have the front panel and the back panel, and these 2 small pieces which are used for joining several displays together. The first thing you'll want to do is to peel the protective covers off your acrylic pieces. We can leave the 2 smaller parts for later. Now you'll want to take each of the mini shifts you previously assembled and add these nylon standoffs to each of the screws. It's not important that they be super tight, but it helps if they're reasonably snug. If you have a USB interface, you'll want to put screws and standoffs on that as well. Notice that you want to put screws facing the other way around from the mini shift. Now that you have screws and standoffs attached to everything, you are ready to attach it to the backing plate. First, plug all of your mini shifts together. If you have a USB interface, attach that as well. Now, lay them on a flat surface. Take the backing plate, does not matter which way around it is, and line up the screw holes. It may take a little bit of jiggling to get everything to line up correctly. It should push down neatly on top so that the spacers are the only things keeping the mini shifts apart from the backing plate. Once those are on, you're ready to attach the nuts to hold them to the backing plate. This is where the nut driver comes in handy. Screw the nuts on loosely. And then if you have one, use the nut driver to tighten things up a bit. Careful not to tighten too hard, you don't want to break the acrylic. Now you're ready to attach the front plate. Turn the mini shift enclosure over so far and admire your handiwork. Now you want to take the 4 long spacers and place them through the holes at the edge. For each spacer, you'll want to take one of the remaining nuts and tighten it up. Once again, if you have one, use the nut driver to tighten the standoff. Now, Lay the Minishift enclosure flat on its back. Take the transparent front plate and carefully line the holes up. Then take the 4 hex head screws and use them to tighten the plate on finger tight. Use the hex key to tighten up the hex head screws the rest of the way. Again, being careful not to tighten it too tight, as you may damage the acrylic. Congratulations, you now have one fully assembled and gorgeous looking Minishift enclosure. If you want to attach several Minishift enclosures together, the assembly procedure is exactly the same. However, instead of attaching 2 of the nuts from the end here, you'll want to attach the spacers that were provided, the short ones. And then use that to attach one of these shorter pieces once you've removed the protective paper. Attaching them like so and using the nuts to fasten them. These are also useful, applied differently with the holes on the inside, if you want an easy way to mount it on the wall.